Hello everyone, welcome to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque. Painting live at 7 p.m. Hello everyone, welcome to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque. Hold on. Painting live. Hello everyone, welcome to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque. Painting live on May 8th at 7 p.m. Central Time. So I'm still coughing. It's still not gone, although it's better. So we'll see how it goes, because once I get coughing, it's pretty bad. So we are working on our hummingbird. Your May boxes were shipped today, unless you are UPS. I do need to drop those 5 off tomorrow morning. This is the bisque that's shipping. So you'll get 1 boy and 1 girl, and you'll also get the tassel for each of them. So this is our African American skin, this is our Native American skin, and this is our Caucasian skin. And so you can do whichever piece with whichever skin color you choose. So you can do them all 3 as Caucasian, or both of them as Caucasian. You will only be getting 1 boy and 1 girl, but you do see 3 samples, because I did do a Caucasian one for the color list. So that is your pieces. And then you can customize those, like I put NWTC nursing on here for the diploma in the year 2025 for the year of the graduation. The boy one, and you can do any colors you want. I did red and black and white because that's our school colors here for Shawano. I have Shawano High Hawks, and then 2025 on that one. And then this girl has Shawano Hawks, Shawano High Hawks in 2025. So that is that one. So you can customize them any way you want. And then some of you did add on the 2 books that they can stand on. And you can also customize those. So when I looked, NWTC, which is our tech school here locally, their colors are blue and silver. And so this one was for nursing, because I have a niece that's graduating from nursing. So I have RN on there in 2025, and then nursing. So you can do a lot with those. Now these books, right now they're not on the website yet, but I will put them on there. Because you can use them for all kinds of other things too, like for Halloween potion books, or whatever you want to do for decoration. So that is that. Then this is your, I'm just going to show you this is the laminated handout. So we have different eyes. We have owl eyes, or like big eyes on birds. We have dragon frog eyes. We have birds or animals where the eyes are on the sides of the head instead of straight looking. We have horse and cow eyes. Those could be dog eyes too. Then we just have the big oval eyes. A lot of Clay Magic stuff has that. Then I have them looking right, looking left, and looking cross-sided. And then it is a backside, and on the backside we have our human eyes that are step by step. You will also have this version using your pieces in your instructions, in your color instructions for your box. And then these are the typical big round eyes that Dona's and Clay Magic and a lot of people use. So they are, this is what you will be getting in your box. This is copyright protected because it is my work. So please don't copy it. And it does say do not copy, and it has the C on it. So if you didn't get this and you want to purchase it, the only way you can purchase it is by purchasing it as a package, because this is exclusive to the box. And so for the package deal, I have the laminate eyes, and then I have my favorite eyeliner, which is my 4585, and it's a 5.0 liner, and it's my kind of my go-to liner brush for whatever I'm doing. So that is part of this package deal, and that is on the website, and that will be available in the future at all times. And it can only be purchased like this with the brush and with the laminate. So the guide, which is step by step. And I painted each and every one of these and photographed them step by step and edited them. So that is your flyer that you are getting in your book, in your box, which is pretty special. So hopefully you guys enjoy that as part of our skin and eyes, lessons for May. All right, so let's see if we got any questions going on here. Looks like not so far. All right. So like I said, all the boxes did go to UPS today except 5. The last 5 I will drop off at the regular post office tomorrow morning. There are a couple that are still not paid for. So depending upon when you pay and what I'm doing, that's when they will ship. All right. So we have our hummingbird. It looks like we did our dandelion last time. We did our little dotted things here, which I think we can pick up on them because we need to highlight them. And let's see, where is our... We got the purple flowers, we got the berries, we did the berries. And I'm trying to find where those little green dots are, because I think I used some lime burst on there. Just trying to find where we were at here. We did our dandelion stems. We did our holly green on our dandelions. We did our berries. We did our purple flowers. Okay, for the dark green stems, we did our accent green. We did our little dots. And now we're going to do a little bit of lime burst, just to highlight them a little bit. So our lime burst is SS376. So I hope you guys do enjoy the eye handout, because there's about 3 days of work put into that, just creating it. And it's more than what the featured item budget is, and so you guys kind of got an extra special box this month considering that. So anyone that wants to buy it can buy it. You just have to buy the package deal. All right, so I did our lime burst, SS376, and now I'm going to take, I don't want, probably just going to go with a liner here, because I don't want real, we just have these little bitty leaves, and so I don't want like a 5 brush, because that'll be too big. So I'm adding a little bit of water to my lime burst just to thin it a little bit. And then I have my 4585, let me see, 5.0 liner, which is actually the liner that is in the eye handout. But now we're going to put just a little, and that's a little too green yet, so I got to add a little more water to it. So we just want to highlight them a little bit. All right, so that's a lot softer. And if you want a little more, you can grab a little more. So I'm just kind of touching the center of these guys. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a drip of water on the end of there. So see how I got my finger all wet? You want to touch your brush onto your paper towel if you have that, because sometimes that will run down your brush, your bristles, and make a big old puddle on your piece. So you want to watch for a puddle, a bubble of water always, because you don't want that to run down your brush bristles onto your piece. So I'm just putting a little lime burst highlight in each one of these. Nothing real fancy, just kind of a couple strokes in the center of it. If you get too much, you can take your paper towel and kind of suck it out of there. So I did post that there are up to 15 boxes available, which I normally don't do that for the bisque box. Usually it's just whatever the subscribers get, that's all there is. However, a lot of you skipped May, and so that's cutting into my budget. And like, I bought the molds to make a certain amount of those boxes, and so I need to make up selling those boxes, so they are available to anyone, kind of as a one-time try me special. So we don't normally do that with the box, but I do have to do it this time because there was too many of you guys skipping it. So that's why that offer is out there. Normally you will not see that though. So it's just a good opportunity for someone wanting to learn eyes and wanting to check out the bisque box without obligation to subscribe. And hopefully I can sell some more of them to make up my monthly budget here. Alright, so we're just adding our line burst highlight, and it's just a couple brush strokes kind of in the center of it. It's nothing real dramatic. Just kind of, I call it floating the color on top of our accent green. So it's kind of good timing with this because I do talk about floating the highlighting colors on the eyes, and so you guys will know what that's about. I'm just coming back, and if I think they need a little more, I'll give them a little more. And if you want, you can even come down like one side of the stem and kind of lighten that up if you want. Like the light is hitting that side, just to give it more character. And then you would do that same side on your other stems. You wouldn't do the opposite side, you would do the same side because the light would be coming from the same side on all the stems. And it just adds a little more. Alright, so we're just coming down that one. Now these I didn't do over there, and these down here, it's the same one, but that's okay. That way we can get going on our bird. Let's see if we got any questions. Looks like we're good. The little phone here doesn't show the comments, so I actually have to get up and see if I can see the comments on the other phone. Well, Kimberly Richmond's on there, so it's showing that one. Well, maybe it'll show now. It's gone already. All right, so now we're going to move on to number 8, because we did everything else. We can go back to our hummingbird now, and I'll probably switch to my size 5 brush now. So we're just using nylon or gold Taklon painting brushes. We're not using the dry brushes today because we're doing a watercolor technique. So we need some charcoal. And I know it's on the table here because we've used it. Ash. Ash. Maybe we didn't have charcoal. Maybe we only had ash. I don't remember. I actually have a new paint rack for our paints, and it's sitting in my truck in the back seat, and I forgot to bring it out. Let me see if I got charcoal in my bucket. So hopefully that will solve my missing paint. Because we'll have the paint in a rack. And we got black. And we should have charcoal here. I'm just not sure where it went. Okay, well, I guess we'll just use the ash. The ash. That's fine. I know it should be here though. So So I'm just going to use ash, but you would want to use your charcoal if you have charcoal. If you have the ash, you can add a couple drops of black to it. So charcoal is OS 475. I have ash here, and I'm just going to add a drop of black to it. And then I'm going to get my paint straightened out before next week. How's that sound? And we don't need a whole lot. So I just put my ash out, and then I'm going to add a drop of black to it, if I can find the black here next. Oh, see right there's charcoal. Okay, well let's just go back to charcoal. So charcoal, OS 475, I know it was here somewhere, as it was just hiding. Alright, so now I'm going to dip my brush into the water, bring some water over here to my charcoal, and make my watercolor. Now you could use the watercolor paints that you buy in the little palettes, but usually they only come as like 12 or 24 or 36 colors, and really we can use all of our acrylic colors just by making them watery. Like watercolor, we're just making them more transparent, so you can see through the color on the foil. So let's move the foil back out of the way so we can see. So for number 8, we're going to make watercolor charcoal paint or float this over our entire bird. So I call it floating because we're really just like laying it on top of what's there. Because I want it a little bit stronger because I can kind of see through it. So I just grab a little bit of the charcoal and bring it over to my water until we get it just the way we want it. And so it just kind of floats on there instead of actually like really painting it. There we go, that's a better. If it just kind of bubbles up the water, then you don't have enough paint in it. So you want to add a little more paint to it if it's doing that. And so we're going to make our whole bird charcoal. And that'll give us kind of our background color. And we did do the other one already, but I figured it would be good practice for us to do this one since we have our 4th class today. Then hopefully everyone has their box by next Thursday. Kind of depends. It seems like UPS has been a little bit slower on occasion, so hopefully everyone has their box. And then we will start our new box, our May box, next week. Now you could use a liner to go into the beak, but this brush has a really nice point on it, so I just use that. I tend to try to use the least amount of brushes. Otherwise I have a whole table full of brushes. And so we're just floating our charcoal color over our bird. And so we're going to get our whole bird with charcoal. So has everyone worked on their piece? Have you guys tried the watercolor? I know a few of you posted you're happy with it and you're using it on other stuff. Is anybody too scared to try it? Don't be scared. Like, you can always paint over it and dry brush it if you're not liking it. All right, so you can come back now and give it a second coat if you want it to be a little bit darker. And so that's what I'm kind of doing, just getting it a little bit darker. Making sure there's charcoal all over and the water didn't just pull back. Whoop, and then, so I just use a little spit to take that off there because this has been dry for, like, this is the 4th week, so usually the paint will just wipe right off if you get it where you don't want it with a little spit. All right, so we'll let that dry. I'm going to wash out my brush, and I'm going to have to take a drink. Got any questions going on here? Oh, it looks like no questions. Come on. All right. So after our charcoal, we have, we'll lay the pencil here. We're going to put gray over the belly and on the beak. I'm sorry. So our gray is OS 476. I'm sorry, OS 474. OS 474. Sorry, I still have a really wicked cough. And it's not all the time, but when it starts going, it really goes. Sorry, I'm going to take another lozenge or thing here. Alright, so I'm going to dip my brush into my water and add it to my gray. And get some watercolor gray here. And you just want it really, really thin so you can see through it. I'm going to pat onto my paper towel so I don't have too much in my brush. And now I'm going to put this over the belly and on top of the beak, kind of like a highlight. So you might want to use a liner brush to do that, but I'm just going to use the tip of this. And I can do it. And then they usually have a pretty light belly. So we're going to kind of put it on the belly here. Now I did brush that out because it seemed like a lot in the brush. You can see it's nice and thin. And kind of come along here. Because they kind of have that nice light colored belly. And then you can kind of see the wing feathers up there, so we'll just kind of stop right there. And just kind of come down to the tail feathers. Okay, and I'm going to wash out my brush again. And now we're going to put a little bit of black on the bottom side of our beak. And then where'd my black go? I know I had it. Green. Ash. Well, like 3 ashes here, you guys. There's black. We just need a drop of black. And I think I need a new black. Let's see if this one's a little better. Don't need a whole lot of black, just a little bit. Alright, so that's all bubbly and oily looking, so I didn't shake it up enough. So we're going to shake it up a little more and put it over here a little further. Alright, now I'm going to dip my brush into the water again and make my kind of my black watercolor. It seems a little too strong yet. Wipe onto my paper towel and then just kind of pick the tip of my brush, or you can switch to a liner. And I want to get like the bottom of the beak so it's a little bit darker. We got the top kind of highlighted there. I think I want it a little bit thinner, so I'm just going to put my brush in the water and then brush it out on the paper towel. And I'll just bring it back down, right down the middle to kind of blend it in more. There we go. Alright. And from there, let's wash out our brush. So now we're going to use Garnet Red to add some color to the head. And we have our Garnet Red, which is OS 480. You just need little drops of these colors because we're really thinning them and not using a whole lot. So again, I'm going to put my water over here, get it nice and see-through. The dark colors take the most amount of water to get them the watercolors, and then don't do that. All right, let's wash that out again because I got green in there. Alright, so let's get our Garnet Red in there. So now they have that, it's called the Ruby Throat here. And that usually comes, I'm getting my paint, under the eye here. Like halfway, oh, way too wet. I'm just going to grab that because it's way too wet. I'm going to pat my brush out on the paper towel here so there's less paint in it. There we go. And then we're going to kind of get from like the center of the eye to the beak, and then under the eye, and then the center of the eye, and come back a little ways. And then we kind of have that triangle here, kind of just like the cardinals do. And so I'm going to get it a little bit stronger. So it may take a few layers, or you can dab into a little bit stronger garnet color, whichever one works for you. I tend to just do a few more layers of it and kind of build it up. And so that kind of comes down to the belly. And there are all different kinds of hummingbirds depending upon where you live. The ruby-throated one is the one that we have here in Wisconsin. And it should be arriving any day, I think, too. Again, I'm going to come right up to the eye on both sides, like to the center of the eye, because the top part will be green. And then over here to the beak. So it's kind of its throat area, if that's what, and I guess that's why it's a ruby-throated. Okay, let's wash that out. And let me see what is next here. Next, we need some white. Let's get some white on here. So our white is OS 431. And I think I got to take the top off this guy. I probably have a new one of these here too somewhere. Well, that's plenty. Alrighty. So again, I'm going to dip into the water, make my watercolor over here. And I keep my little strong, straight pile of white over there, because then if I ever need some, I can just bring it over here and add it to it. Alright, I'm going to wipe that out on the paper towel so there's not too much water in it because of the water. I'm going to kind of add my white. So along this red, there's kind of a little white band. So if you want, you can switch to a liner brush. I tend to just stay with my big brush, but a little liner brush would probably work better for a lot of you. And we're just going to kind of put our little white band that goes next to the ruby throat there. And I kind of like do little strokes of it so that it kind of looks like feathers. Feathers laying there. You can see that it's just not a straight line. I kind of got it painted like little feathers. Edges. Alright, so we got that. Let's wash that out. And check this phone here for questions. Looks like we're good. Alright, so now we're going to make a deep turquoise for our inner wing, our back, and a little bit on the belly side. There's light turquoise, or is deep turquoise? Like they should all be on the table because we've used them all before. But that's not the case. Alright, so we have our deep turquoise OS 468. And we just need a little drop of that. Probably too much. And a drop of water. Again, I just pull some to the side, thin it out here. If you need more, pull more. It seems a little bit thick yet. All right. Wipe it on my paper towel. Let's see if we got any questions. No. All right. So now we are going to do the inner wing, which is this little part right here. Oh, that's too thick. So if it goes on pretty solid like that, your color is too thick. You got to thin it out more. And it's like I said, it's those dark colors that really need it thinned out more. Because I kind of want to see, you kind of want it transparent is what you want. Right, so we're getting that inner inner wing there. And then we're going to get the inner wing over here. And if you need to use a smaller brush, use a smaller brush. We're going to bring that to the belly. If you want more color, just go back and add more color. All right, and then we're going to do the back, which is kind of this little part right here. And then a little bit on the belly side close to the wing. So we did all that. All right, so that should be good. Kind of brought it down to the tail there and right to this little belly area. And I'm just gonna like kind of thin this out here a little bit so it's not, so it's more of a triangle and not just a drop off. All right, so let's wash that out. Then our next color is bright blue, which our bright blue is OS 459. So we'll get a drop of that. And again, we're going to add some water to that. And that's a nice dark color, so you need quite a bit of water again. Wiped it out on the paper towel. I'm going to come back and add some. And now we are going to put that over the deep turquoise on the lower part of the wing. So we're kind of shading it here. So we're going to kind of bring it down to here, but we're not going to do it up here. We're just going to kind of do it over the top of that to get it kind of with that blue-green color. And kind of let the turquoise more up there. And a little bit on this other wing. And then I gotta see what did I do for the head part here. I gotta read instructions for a minute, you guys. All right, so I'm gonna bring this up over here too. Kind of letting that belly kind of gray. Bring it right up to our white. And then to the garnet. And you can go over the eye, that's not a big deal because that will we'll paint that black. And then right to the beak there. And if you want a little more turquoise in there, you can just go and grab a little turquoise. And kind of put a little bit, not that much. Just a little bit of turquoise in there to kind of get that turquoisey going in there too. Just a little bit. Okay, let's wash that out. Now I gotta read directions again. If you're too bright, you can add a little bit of gray over it if you want. I'm looking at these upper wings. I think I want a little bit of gray up on them so they're just a little bit lighter. So I'm gonna. So while your paint is on your foil here, like it tends to like dry out because there's so much water in it. So you have to like reconstitute it. So I add a little bit of water to my gray, and I'm just going to put a little bit of gray over the top of that and kind of blend that into my turquoise there. And the one behind can be a little bit darker because that would be shaded a little bit more. I get just a little bit of color in there, I think. Oh, a little too much. I dip in my water and see if I can get a little bit out of there. It's a little more than what I wanted. So you can kind of wipe it back out. See, I kind of wiped it back out just by having clear water on my brush. All right, and then I want a little bit of, just a little bit down here in the tail. Not a whole lot. So I put a little strip of it, and now I put water in the brush, and I'm just going to come back and kind of thin it out a little bit. Let's see this guy. So this guy, I actually came down a little bit further with my turquoise, but I know there's a lot of times their bellies are actually almost kind of white. So I'm just going to put a little turquoise. Like every one is going to be a little different. So I put a little turquoise, and I'm actually going to grab just a little bit of white, so we can have more of a lighter. This one can be a little bit lighter. So you can change your colors up just by doing that. Because like some of them do have kind of a pretty white belly. It just kind of, every bird is different, just like every person is different. And let's just gonna kind of overlap that a little. Kind of bring it down there. And then I want to soften this a little bit here. So I just have water in my brush. I'm just gonna like pull it in into the belly part, and then that'll just kind of soften it. All right, so that looks pretty good. So I can't see where I put my black brown, but I'm pretty sure I put some black brown on there too. So we're gonna put a little black brown here if I can find it, because they do have a little bit of a brown color to them too. So our black brown is OS 473, and we'll just get a drop of that. Put a little water in there. And then I like to put that over the top of the black on the beak here, just to tone it down so it's not such a sharp black. And then if you want, you can add a little bit of that to the little tail feathers down here. And then even a little bit up here. Just kind of a stroke of it in each little wing. All right, so that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to switch to an actual liner, and we can paint his little eye black. And so we got just a little circle there. And it's kind of like half in the garnet and half into the blue part. And I should have my new glasses on. That looks like it needs to come up a little bit. I need a little water in there. It doesn't want to. So when you're doing the little fine detail work, add just a tiny drop of water to your paint, whether it's the black or the white, and it just helps it paint a little bit easier. Like it just flows off your brush a little bit easier. You can get it where you want it, because it's such a little area that little bit of water really, you're just thinning it just a touch. And we've done that all the time when we're doing eyes. Like, that's nothing new for you guys. Trying to get a round eye here instead of a pointed eye right there. There we go. And then I actually used the black brown on the little feet here, so they're not too dark. And they're just like little, there's just like some little divots there. And I got too much water on my brush, I can see it. So just put that in them, like they got like little claws. I seen something, I think it was today, like I think their little nests are only like the size of a quarter. There we go, so we got his little feet on there now. And then for the eye, all I did was a little bitty tiny white line on the bottom of it. So I'm going to get my thinned white here. And I just put a really, really tiny, like a little tiny comma at the bottom of the eye. Just for a little highlight. I didn't overdo it. It's not, so it's not thin enough. It doesn't want to come off the brush. So I added a drop of water to my white. And let's see if we can get it to come off now. So that drop of water is really your friend. There we go. See, we have our nice little drop of water now that brought that white line on our eye really well. Alright, so now if you want to change anything, you can. I think I have my sample one is a little bit darker on these little bottom leaves, so I'm going to add just a little more charcoal in there. Alright, so that looks pretty good. If you wanted this to be more turquoise instead of green, you can come back, or instead of the blue. This one's a little bit bluer the way it looks than my other one. I'm just going to come really thin with my watercolor turquoise right over the top of that and tone that down a little bit. This is just a little bluer than I'd like. So you can go back and touch things up and change them too. With the watercolor, it just takes a few more strokes of it, or layers of it. So there. So that's looking pretty good. And if you wanted this to be a little bit, oh, I don't know, it's too much. Just a touch whiter under here, you could add just a oh, see, too much. Sometimes you're better off just leaving things alone too. My white's not thin enough here. Because sometimes they have a really, really white belly for just a little bit under here. So we can do that too if you want. Just kind of do like little feather dashes. So it looks like it's layered over each other. Wash that out. And just kind of come back with the water and kind of blend it a little bit. So just with water in your brush, you can kind of blend too. Okay, so there we go. So let's see if we got any questions up here. No questions, you guys. And if you wanted a little bit more of a highlight on the top of that beak, we can take the liner, go into the gray, get it nice and thin. And you can actually put a little bit more of a line, maybe. So just put a little bit more of a lighter line on the top of that beak, just to highlight it a little more, to give it a little more dimension. There we go. Now I kind of got it in my turquoise, so I'll have to come back with my turquoise and kind of touch that up. So you can go back over it, and I'll just get rid of my white that I have there. There we go. And if I want a little more blue back in there, I'll just grab a little blue. Alright, so there's our hummingbird, you guys. He's looking pretty good. So and if you wanted to add like a little bit of brown, I did that to one of them one time too. A little bit of the black brown, a little bit more over the wings here, you can do that too. There we go. So there's our hummingbird. I would say he's done. And then all of the rest of our vase is done except for these little spots here that I will finish. So then I just took it and I'll have to finish this side too. You guys don't have to watch me do that because we already did all that. I will spray it with the matte sealer. Now I did notice on this one I kind of got it a little bit darker. So if you want to make things a little bit more shaded too, you can do that. So I'm just going to go in the black brown and kind of put a little bit right through here just to kind of darken that up a little bit, because that one the back wing is in front of the other one, so that could be a little bit darker there if you wanted. And then if you want, you could even run a little line over there. It's kind of whatever you like, because if you look on the just go online and look up like hummingbirds, and you'll have all kinds of hummingbird pictures to go by. So we can just darken that a little bit for shading. Kind of outline it right there. So now you can, that kind of stands out more, that one's behind the other one a little more. But that's probably all I would do to this guy. So then I sprayed it with the matte sealer, and then I did come back and put, you can come back and put the brush on gloss sealer on the eyes and on the hummingbird feet if you like, and on the berries as well. I put it on the berries too. So that's kind of it for our watercoloring demonstration technique box. Was it something you guys liked and would want to do again or not? Because I do need to get our molds figured out for the rest of the year, and then the start of next year. So I'll be looking at things we can do. So if anybody has suggestions, you guys can post that too. Our next box for June will be a large oval box and a medium oval box, and then I have the small oval box that you can add on. And I haven't decided what we're going to do yet because I haven't had the time to actually do them. My plan was to do faux stained glass on both of them, but I think we may do two techniques, do faux stained glass on one, and then maybe hydro dipping or paint pouring on the other one. So I don't know if that's something you guys want to do too or not. So you can comment about that if you would like. So those samples, I am pouring them already, so those samples will be coming. And then our July box is Christmas in July. And those are Dona poinsettia pieces. And then the rest of the year I don't have, except for December. I do have the December box molds from Clay Magic, and they will be they're ornaments that sit on they have a base that's like a greenery base, so that will be our December box. So love this techniques, enjoyed the box. Let's do another. Okay, so keep that in mind for next year. It is really fun, and it's kind of a lot faster than dry brushing, I think. So, and you could use it on different things. It really worked good on this piece because it has the indents on it. So I kind of like that. I know we haven't done silk screening in a while, so I'll probably look at doing some silk screening coming up too for the second half of the year. Not sure what else. Oh, probably try to get in a Fashion Hues box using the translucents a little more intensely than what we did before. We've kept it pretty simple. Love this technique. Okay. So we'll probably look at having a Fashion Hues box in there too. And then I'll look and see what else we can find. So hopefully you guys will enjoy the boxes, and we'll keep learning until December 2026. Excuse me. I do have the Advent tree in the kiln firing right now. I don't have the ornaments in there firing, but I do have the tree in there firing. So I'll be trying to get that sample done for us for our Christmas in July. We're going to try to have I'm going to try to have a big Christmas in July thing. So that'll be the end of the June to ship in July. Excuse me. I have lots of other trees that we got from Clay Magic that are new, and then some other stuff, trees that we've had that we haven't poured yet. For June, the add-ons will be a lot of the Clay Magic molds that we got like just a month ago. They're starting to get dry now. There's the Jeep, those bee posies, the little poppy flowers with the bees, the Highland cows and the big and the small. So all that stuff is coming. I just started pouring a few of them today and yesterday because the molds are dried out, but I still have to get a few of the other molds dried out. I'm still pouring the vintage Alberta mice ornaments for Christmas in July, kind of an advent calendar of ornaments. I do have those poured, and some of them are already fired. I'm debating as to whether or not to paint them. So I'm not sure if you guys want painting instructions with those vintage Alberta mice, or if you just want the mice as the advent calendar, or if you want painting instructions too. So you guys can comment on that too, because that'll be coming. Kind of a lot going on for July. Kind of want to make it a big anniversary, like a 6th anniversary thing. So June will have a lot of new things because I'm pouring that stuff now and I'm starting to feel a little better. Otherwise, I don't think there's a whole lot of other stuff. Mother's Day is Monday or Sunday, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Whether you're a dog or cat or human mother, whatever, happy Mother's Day. Like I said, your boxes got picked up today, and the USPS ones will get dropped off tomorrow morning. I did add a couple things to the website, and I'll keep adding. I added the Dona Seasons insert stone basket today. I was able to add that. I have 3 of those poured. So for Christmas in July, we'll have the Santa and the Mrs. Santa warming at the stove, because I know there's non-subscribers waiting for that. As well as I have to get the bases poured for that Christmas Village, because the Village pieces are already poured. So kind of a little bit of catching up to do too with that, but it'll make Christmas in July a lot of fun with lots of stuff. So I need instructions, as you know. Ombre. Yeah, we haven't done ombre in a while, so there's quite a few different things we haven't done. We haven't done the crackle technique or the leather technique in a while either, so there's a lot of stuff we can do yet. Because believe it or not, the next year and a half will go really fast, I'm sure. Then I'm looking at, Courtney and I kind of we talked about doing a quarterly box or doing a every other month box. Not sure about any of that stuff either yet, but it's just all options that are out there. So you guys can comment on whatever you think you might want to see. The goal is to be able to pour a lot more bisque, so I can pour some of our 8,000 molds that we got and have them on the website or have live sales, whatever works. So I think that's about it for tonight, you guys. We're done with our April box, our Hummers, which I think is really cool technique. It turned out really well. Oh, I didn't put the pansy on there. That's what we're missing. Just noticed it. So we can go pansy OS564. I knew there was a color missing. So we're just going to get a drop of that. And we're going to add a drop of water. And float us a little bit of pansy on the back of his. I just seen it now when I looked here. It's on the back of the tail here. And so that just adds enough of another color to him to give us our little hummingbird look. Kind of down the tail here. And if you wanted, you could put some up here where it's darker too. Kind of up onto the head. Oh, and then the other thing you can do with this too is to put, after you seal it, you can brush. I'm going to just put a little bit over the whole thing just for the heck of it here today. I want to see how it looks. Brush the dragonfly glaze onto your bird, just to give it more of a, and I'm putting it all over the purple really light, just to give it a little sparkle that the hummingbirds have. So this would be a good one, this folk art dragonfly glaze. And it's just another paint that's real thin with sparklies in it. And it comes in different color versions. So this is the red, violet, blue. So this would give a really pretty red, violet, blue sparkle to your hummingbird if you wanted to do that after it was sealed. So that's really cool stuff too. And I just got that at Hobby Lobby, and it's $4.79. So, and you can get it off of Amazon too. So we just give it that hummingbird sparkle that they seem to have. All right, now he's done. Now he looks more complete. So, all right, you guys, I think we're kind of done with class early. Unless anyone has any questions, you guys can post them quick, or you can always message me too. As always, if you're open your box when it comes. If anything's broke, take pictures of the box, the wrapping, and your piece, and get it to me. We did have like 3 broken hummingbird vases last month, but they were kind of pushing the size of the box. Like the box is an 11-inch box, and the candle is 11 inches, so I had to put it in there at an angle. And so it was pushing the limit. Courtney probably wouldn't have left me do it if she was helping yet. So we probably won't do that again. But 3 of them wasn't too bad, but we got through it. So I think that's about it, you guys. You can message me anything you want. If you know anyone looking for eye instructions, they can get the package deal with the laminated eye guide and the liner brush, which is the one I used tonight. If you just want the liner brush, you can get that off the website too. The Silver Falcon brushes are on there. They're my brushes made by Silver Falcon. I have not ordered the dry brushes yet because it's a pretty big investment, and with the price of everything, business has been a little bit slower than normal, and so we'll have to hold off on that yet for a while until we have more income. So, but I'm still looking forward to doing that in time. So otherwise, I think that's it, you guys. My cold is getting better, although I still sound kind of bad and still get coughing jags, but it's definitely better than it was. It's the 4th week of it, so I hope none of you get it because it really stinks. So that's about it, you guys. Have a great week, and we will see you next Thursday. All right, bye, everyone. Thanks for joining me.